This is your Sleepless God back with a part 2 of What If Loki was in the My Hero Academia universe. Thank you all you guys for your supports, and thank you all for your comments on other videos. Please keep on commenting on my videos about other ideas that you might like. Ben 10, comics, anime, movies, anything. I really watch it all and I really like it all. Maybe not the newer ones as much. I might have to catch up on a couple of them if you ask me on them, like Demon Slayer, One Punch Man, and the rest. But let's get started. So last time we left off, we were starting to talk about Loki's transformation into a woman, and also him her having a child with a mortal man. Everything was going good until this mortal man had a car accident and tragically died. But angry as Loki was, she was still thinking logically enough to beg his her father to bring him back, or have the ability to bring him back at any chance of the word, with magic or something, because she wants her husband back. And Loki in this universe is powerful enough to match Odin. Not really, get like close, but not truly there with with her magic. But Odin just said, "No, I am not fighting you, my daughter. I am not fighting you at all. If you even get close to a fight, I will win, because you are not strong enough for me." And he leaves, and Loki just starts destroying things as best as possible. But he knows that when Odin says it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. So she decides to leave, because she doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. So she finds a device called the Eye of Evil and the 5 Infinity Gems to open a portal to a different universe, any other universe. Before she leaves, she talked to the Elder Gods and gave her enough power and her newborn son enough power to equal his strength and be as more powerful for the sun version as Odin. So be incredibly powerful enough, because we talked about that beforehand. When she walked through the portal, though, also separating the Eye of Evil into 6 parts, and also the Infinity Gems into 6 parts as well, separating them into multiple different sections to, keep them safe and keep them away from the mortals as well, because they know, she knows when the mortals go with the Infinity Gems, sometimes bad stuff happens. Then she walked through the portal. It's shutting behind her as the portal collapses on itself, not having an energy system no more, and only can let one person go through. She saw a world of superpowers. Entering the My Hero Academia universe, she was super surprised, and also that no one knows who she was. So that's the end of the video. Last time we closed off, let's start the video. So Loki kind of just dipped. In my section of words of dipped, I mean, she knew she couldn't raise a child with this much amount of power in a city section, in a section of so much things that could be broken, especially if it's an Asgardian. Asgardians are very, very tough. What I mean by that is, literally, like, in comparison to, like, I think Loki said putting like thousands of bolts of electricity through his body is equal for an Asgardian as stubbing his toe. It's an irritation, but it's not like a true pain. So she moves far away from the city as possible and builds a castle with her magic. And she makes it sturdy enough for an Asgardian child that he can play in, but big enough for a queen. And obviously putting enough magical traps on this motherfucker to literally kill some of the most heaviest hitters in the Marvel universe if they ever show up. And when she had the baby, she had it by herself, alone. Just herds of her screaming. The boy is the most beautiful thing that she could ever see in her life. When she was holding her child, it didn't matter about her husband's death. It didn't matter about the pain, the night sweats, waking up and throwing up, the pain, the trouble sleeping, the waking up in the middle of the night with nightmares of Thor or Odin, realizing that she has a child, and waking up of them taking his boy away from her. Oh, that was worth that when she saw her son. Black hair like hers. And these beautiful, almost golden like eyes. So golden, in fact, that it was like their eyes is like literally looking into the sun level of gold. Like, if you ever saw true gold ever in your life, you know what gold looks like. It's that level of gold. Like, it's true gold. As he looks at it and just she tries, she thinks and she thinks and she thinks of a name for this boy. She's been thinking for days before this, but she really needs to think for a name for this boy. A boy that could survive throughout her life. And she names it off of his dead husband's father, and his name was I'm trying to think of a name that can match this level of greatness because I'm bringing up the expectations. His name was Drake, meaning dragon, like a drake. And she liked it. So she names her son Drake. And the last middle name, actually, I don't know if in mythology or even in the Marvel canon that, like, Asgardians have middle names. So I'm not going to let him have a middle name because it's more complications for me and more things I have to remember. So no thank you, any of that. So it's just Drake and then their last name, but not his last name or her last name, the one that he got from father, the one that he got from her husband. Lungarius. So Lungarius, so it's Drake Lungarius. Lungarius because they came from multiple different states, and they actually was from multiple different cultures. Lungarius is their last name, and she loved it. I don't know what Lungarius means. It's going to be a word though. It's a last name for them. I don't care. I've heard Lungarius once or twice. But So Drake grew up fast. And when I mean fast, I mean fast, fast. Uh, like Drake learned how to walk 2 months after he was born. Drake learned how to stand and walk in straight lines without stopping 1 year, like fully walk and speak in complete sentences at 1 years old. He was learning magic at like 2 years old. And he was learning sword fighting at the age of 6. So Drake had like Loki loved Drake more than anything. And when I mean more than anything, I mean more than anything. Like you could literally put like or at this moment in time, you could have put the power of the universe in her hand or Drake, and she would drop the power of the universe and shatter it on glass just to hold Drake. Uh, Also, Loki had to get used to this universe. Uh, Luckily enough, she got acquainted with a book club uh, full of parents. Uh, Two of them she really, really, really liked. Like and those families that are actually also superhero families, like families that one of them is a design business family, so things that make clothing. So she learned about that, but also the other one is a superhero family, a family with one that is a major one that can mention superheroes, and that is the Bakugo family and the Midoriya family. I do not know Bakugo's last name. I'm sorry. I don't do that much research. uh, I literally made up Drake Lingarius from Draco Malfoy and Lingarius because I don't know. I like the word Lingarius. It's not even a word. I think I heard it somewhere else in a book or something. Lingarius. I don't do that much research, but I do enough. Uh, but those two actually brought her up, especially with the world of things. Uh, not to quote off, but Loki is a woman. She's a looker. I'm like, you know when like back in old times you would whistle anytime you see a hot woman, like, ooh, she's hot. You wouldn't whistle. You wouldn't have time to whistle. You would see her, and instantly your entire body would freeze like you saw Medusa. Like she's that hot. Like you have no idea. She's like a 10 out of 10 plus. And to go and to live in this world, you know, like with her in mortal realm, she was Loki. Or in the realm of Marvel, she was Loki. She was a god of mischief. She was literally a chaos. She was like close to chaos deity in the highest percentage of the word, and a frost giant. But in the Mario Academia universe, she has none of those. She doesn't know any of those talents, not names. She is none of that. She is just Loki. There's no Loki in this universe. She's just Freya at this point. She lives her life with her beautiful baby boy and with her book club. And with this, Drake, sorry, I almost said Draco. Drake is learning magic and learning quick. And when I mean quick, I mean like he is learning more in the past year and a half that she's been teaching her son than she learned in 6 years. And luckily enough, sword fighting as well. Luckily enough, the Beyonders, or the Elder Gods, who might be Beyonders, uh, gave her enough power to keep up with his boy because he is fast and he is also hyper. Luckily she made the castle big enough for Drake because it's just ever And she thought she made the castle sturdy enough, but some crushed walls happened. Maybe it was her fault, but it did happen. And they also, like, because Drake knows that, like, it's a touchy subject, talk about dad, and, you know, Freya, or I'm just going to say Loki, doesn't like to talk about it either. They both kind of, that it pushes Loki out of her comfort zone because she has to talk something to her son that is painful to talk about. It is merciless. It hurts her to talk about this stuff in front of him. And so to say this out loud and how to explain Drake's father to Drake, I'm calling him Marcus. Uh, to Mark to explain Marcus to Drake, and to not, like, see the brightness in his eyes, those golden eyes of his, to see that go into this extreme light and then go down because he knows in his soul he's never going to meet his father. But he knows the stories. Also, when Drake got older, like 9, 10 years old, Loki told her own story to Drake. Because Drake has been like nagging at her for at least 3 years, just being like, "Wait, what? Hey, mom, where's those? Why do you have those horns?" I'll tell you when you're older. Where do you learn all this magic from? I know we don't have, these are quirks, not magic. I'll tell you later. Well, why do we practice sword fighting? Well, we need to train. Why don't we practice like fighting? Well, sword fighting is also fighting. Well, like he's a kid, but he asks so many questions, and Loki doesn't like shoot him down. It's not like one of those parents just like, it is because it is. No, he gives a reason to train your body and to train your mind. Why do we play chess so much? So we can so we can so we can train your mind. Why do we sword fight now? To train your body. Why do we practice magic so much? To get good at it, and to for later down the date, so you do not have to practice as much for more complicated spells. You get the basics down, you don't have to get, when you get to higher level spells, you already know the basics. She explains everything to him because he needs to. And when she explained his backstory, she saw the hate in his eyes. Those golden eyes, when they go hate, they go hate. And when she saw that, it gave like a kind of spark, but also kind of a worry. Because when she saw that hate in those eyes, it reminds of her eyes. And when she hated. So she tried to remember that. She shouldn't teach Drake how to hate. She should teach Drake how to forgive, how to love. But also, Loki's still a villain. She might be turning a new leaf, but she was still a villain. So she's not like, yeah, you should forgive everyone. She's like, if someone does too bad at you, fucking rip their skulls off. But the past is still the past. You should not just drag that out. But at the age of Drake being about the age of 10, and Loki teaching him everything, like half of what she knows about magic, and a lot about sword fighting, a lot about chess, a lot about mathematics, a lot about English, everything, basically every subject in the world, is finally for Drake to go to public school, or actually, school itself, because talking to Inko and talking to the Bakugo family, she realized that sheltering him into this massive castle is not going to be good for his mental state and not mental well-being, especially if he doesn't have friends. So Drake has to go to public school now, and Drake is kind of interested, but like more like, okay, are you okay with this, mom? Like, you have to do it, not just have to, but just get out there. It's like, okay, I'm fine. I'm not. He was never like a shy kid. He was perfectly fine alone. He's talked to his mother more often than not. So he's not like a shy little kid. He's just fine. And this is where, Drake finally goes to public school. And Drake meets his first couple of friends. And this is where we're going to have the video. So just remember, guys, to subscribe as well as like this video. And remember, I don't know what to remember. I just remember that I'm still here. Don't forget about me, please. But I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.